Morning, everybody.
Morning. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to Posturing for Your Day. Your ears look a lot shorter.
Oh, so do yours.
Really?
It's really weird. Feeling a little tense this morning?
How's that?
That's no.
No, not getting it?
No. A good amount of the clients that come to us deal with carrying all their tension in their neck and shoulders. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Maybe why we do it and can we stop doing it? As I said, we're going to talk about the very common issue of holding all our tension in our shoulders, which comes from a number of things. You know, some of it's postural related, how we're always sitting. Some of it's emotional, psychological. I think we tend to lock things up, brace things in our bodies, whether it's the shoulders or the jaw or the fists or even the butt muscles, when we need to feel some stability in our bodies because we're dealing with whatever we're dealing with, stress or confrontation or whatever it is. But the shoulders in particular, it kind of becomes this locked in habit where even when we want to let them go, it's really hard to do that. So this tension tends to come into like everything we do. You know, you're brushing your teeth with your upper trapezius, or you're drinking your coffee as if it weighs, 50 pounds. Like, we want to start not only being able to release some of that tension, but just being aware when we're doing it when we don't have to. So we're going to start off. I want to get into the habit too of every time we're doing these presentations of starting off with our Wu Chi position, which is just a really nice stance to feel both relaxed and ready before we start going into our movements. So Bill is, I think, going to post a little link on our, a link to an article I wrote on the website about what the points of Wu Chi posture actually is. But essentially it means no action energy. So nothing is happening, but everything's happening. So I'm going to invite you to either stand or if you want to sit in your chair. But either way, I want you to be able to have your feet on the floor. And if you're sitting, make sure that your sit bones are on the chair. So your rib cage and your pelvis and your head are all stacked in the same line. We're just going to take a moment to connect with the feet on the floor. Feel your weight more over the backs of the feet. There's a particular point on the bottom of the feet that we are connecting on. And again, if you go to that link, you'll see where that is. Just think about your feet, just grounding into the floor. And then in terms of the pelvis, just tip the tailbone under slightly. So we're kind of getting a nice elongation and relaxing through the lower back. And then just letting your abdominal muscles relax, your rib cage relax. As you breathe down into your belly between the navel and the pubic bone. You can place your hands here if you like. And relax the shoulders. And we just bring in the awareness of almost like a sensation that your head is being lifted up toward the ceiling. So it's a relaxed posture, but it's not like a relaxed, like a default relaxed. It's relaxed in a way where you feel your sense of balance. If I were to come up to you and push you on the shoulder, you would be able to stay, in your stance, not contracted and not tense, but just gently, sturdily relaxed. All kinds of adjectives today. And we're going to start here as we breathe in this posture again to start bringing your awareness to how your shoulders feel. Sometimes even when we're trying to relax them, it's like they just don't want to relax. And that's okay. That takes a lot of practice, a lot of awareness. It's kind of like a wiring that has been reinforced over the years of doing that. So it's just something to be aware of. Okay. We're going to go into a few moves. I just want to start with a couple of movements to help you experience movement that don't have to involve the shoulder. Sometimes whenever, like if we have this as a chronic pattern, every time we do anything with our arms, the shoulders have to, the trapezius goes along with it. It's like, whoa, what are we doing? Let's, we want to help. So we want to try to start practicing moving without engaging that aspect of our body. So we're going to start with keeping your arms at your sides. We're not clenching them. They're just relaxed here by your sides, but this is just a reminder not to move the arms up. Bring your hands out in front like you're holding a chi ball. So
a cheese ball?
A cheese ball, a chi ball, QI, chi ball, or whatever, a bubble. A bubble is nice because then you don't want to grip it. You just want to keep your hands relaxed. And then we're just going to move out with the in-breath and then back with the out-breath. And the movement is coming from the shoulder joint. It's not coming from the shoulder blade rising. So just be aware of that. And we're inhaling and then exhaling. And in and out. And again, just noticing if your shoulders have a tendency to want to start, lifting the arms up, lifting the shoulders up. And just expand this movement. We'll do that a few times, and then we're going to start rolling the ball side to side. So again, we're trying to keep the arms at the side. So we're keeping everything on the level between the bottom of the rib cage and the pelvis. So there's no need to bring it up. As soon as you start to come up here, the shoulders want to engage. So we're keeping everything on this level. Okay, and we're just going to roll the ball side to side. So I'm bringing one hand on top and then coming over. And again, we're coordinating this with the breathing. So as we come to the center, it's an inhale and then an exhale. And then in and out. And we're just trying to experience movement that's only at the arms. Shoulders can stay relaxed the whole time. They don't need to get involved. Come back to the other side. Then we'll come back to center. And then we're going to change up the movement a little bit. So again, we're staying on this plane, just imagining like there's a table out in front of you. And this one, the arms are going to come out from the sides a little bit. So we got to pay extra attention again to what the shoulders want to do. And we're just going to spread the hands out. And then palms come back up, face up. Everything stays low and out in front. But again, the movement's only at the shoulder joint. As long as you stay on the same plane, the shoulder blades do not have to get involved. I want to say too, if you're watching this and if you have any questions, type them in and see if we can get to them. Now we're going to start challenging it a little bit we're going to start bringing our hands up above this level. So I'm just going to come up. So at this point, the arm is still going to raise, but I can still raise just at the shoulder joint without raising the shoulder blade. So if you want to place your hand on your shoulder blade first, just to see what happens here, we're just going to float the hand up as though pulling up the wrist by a string, float it up to about shoulder height, and then down again.
Maybe if they have a mirror, they can check themselves.
That's a good point. I was going to suggest if you have a mirror, you can watch what your shoulders do with each of these movements. Because sometimes we don't realize we're doing it unless we look at it. So let's get the other arm going. So we're going to do one at a time. Inhale, exhale, in. You get a little side to side hip movement going if you like. It's just a nice, comfortable way to start experiencing movement without a lot of effort. What are just the essential things that we need to move here? We tend to do a lot of things in our culture with much effort, much force, much tension, and a lot of it's unnecessary and exhausting, really, even though it keeps us in work, but not so good for you. Let's just take another breath in and out. hopefully that gives you some experience with moving the arms without tensing up the shoulders. And we're going to do a whole body pelvic twist again. I think we did this on Monday, but it's a nice one to do just to start loosening up the back. We're going to turn the pelvis side to side and just letting your arms dangle. So the upper body's just going along for the ride. And in this one, we're not going to worry about slapping the back. We're just going to let the arms hang and swing. And again, take some nice breaths in with every exhale. Just let your shoulders drop a little bit more. This is good to do any time of day, really. If you've been sitting for a little while, if you have some room, make sure you're not whacking furniture or your neighbor. And remember to breathe.
Please.
It's funny how we forget that, including me. And if you're finding that you're torquing at the knees, like if you have some knee issues, and you know, sometimes if you're twisting, you might find that your knees are twisting a little bit. Just think about rotating the upper body relative to the pelvis. You can just keep your pelvis more forward, and then you're not twisting down into the knees. So it can be a smaller twist, but you're still getting that movement in through the waist and the back. Okay, and then we'll come to a stop. And then we're going to do a little bit more involving the arms again, but again, hopefully your shoulders are nice and relaxed now, so we can kind of keep them in that state as we do this next movement. And it's just a rolling forward and up with the breath. So with the inhale, we're coming up. Exhale, rolling forward, curling up through the spine. Inhale and exhale. So there's a little bit more arm movement here, and yes, my shoulders are going up, but then they're going back down again. Everything drops as I roll forward. And everything's loose. I'm not tightening up the shoulders. I'm not tightening up the arms. I'm just keeping it all. What's the phrase? Lady hands in Tai Chi, where everything's just kind of soft.
Rady's hands.
Rady's hands.
Sorry.
We'll edit that out, okay? Now we're going to go in the other direction. So down and then pull forward. I can feel my back cracking when I do this. Do one more. Inhale up and exhale. And just reconnect with your body, particularly your shoulders. Just imagine your shoulder blades sliding down the back, taking your arms with them. And now we're going to do Tai Chi opening. So again, we're raising the arms up, imagining that there's strings pulling the wrists up, and then dropping them down. This is not just an arm movement, it's a whole body. And hips go forward as the arms come down, and hips go back as the arms come up. It's a nice flow. And the shoulders all the way down to the pelvis and the knees and back. And then we'll do one arm at a time. So one up, and as that one comes up, the other one comes down. And this move is specifically for the intention of moving with as little effort as possible. So if you can visualize that your hands, your wrists are just being lifted up. Visualization plays a big part in Qigong. imagination. Do one more on each side. And float back down. So, I don't know about you, but my arms feel nice and light and airy and actually a little bit cold. Right. Yeah, I'm just going to do the one more. You know, this is the catch-all for everything. Just shaking it out. So start with the hands and the elbows, the shoulders. The furniture starts rocking. Let the belly go. Let the knees go. Let the vocal cords go. I can't do this without laughing. All right, well, that's an introduction to some loosening up the shoulders. We're going to deal with this again on Friday with some more specific neck and shoulder stretches. But the important thing is we start releasing this stuff first and being able to be aware of when you're hiking your shoulders up. And if you have any comments about that, anything you'd like to share, please comment, share the page, do all that good stuff. And I think that's everything I have.
I think that's it. Could I throw in one comment?
Absolutely.
Just one of the reasons it's important to keep those shoulders from rising up, and we don't have time to go into all this, but I know we're going to be doing some anatomy classes and things like that. When the shoulders come up, the muscles here, levator scapula, is in a shortened position. And if it's always in a shortened position, it will grow into a shortened position. That's the basis of a lot of headaches and a lot of the chronic tension, where you're no longer able to bring the shoulders down and forward back because they come forward. So these little simple movements are a good way to open up all that tissue.
Right.
And that's what we're after. And that's why it's restorative movement.
Levator scapula, I always think of scapula elevator, so it's what elevates the scapula, and it's attached to the neck. So if you ever wonder, like it literally becomes your shoulders attached to your neck.
Yeah.
Like,
So don't do that.
don't do that.
Well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Thank you for joining us again this morning. We will be back Friday at 7:30 a.m. So get your coffee, get your hair washed, and we'll see you then.
Thank you for coming. See ya.